Or what do you want to? You want to say anything? I know. I'm just talking. Okay. Wes, is there anything you want to talk about before we get started?
Hey, you running the show. Let's get it.
Okay. Welcome back to Eagle Time. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Marcus West here. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
All right. So how's your day so far?
So far, so good. No complaints. Happy to be towards the end of the day, ready to go home.
Yep. Amen.
Facts.
Okay, so first
Actual.
question I have for you is, so you've been at multiple other schools, correct?
Correct.
So how is Case different than your past schools you've been at?
So I started out at Julian Thomas, which is elementary school. So you're dealing with a younger population, a lot of crying, a lot of chirping, cursing, a lot of stuff you see at the high school level, but the high school level is a little bit different. I like to think I'm dealing with young adults where I can bargain, I can work things out, I can build those relationships. So for me personally, that is the main difference between dealing with the high school students versus the elementary.
Perfect. Good. Good way to start it going. And then, so you're also very into basketball as, your future career. So you want to talk about a little bit on, what do you project our basketball team to be in the next couple of years with our girls and our boys?
If I was a betting man, I predict a bright future.
Okay.
And the reason being is because we have some coaches that's here that's putting in the work. And now they have someone like myself available to them to assist them in any ways that I can. I understand who's at the top of the division, and I understand what work looks like. I understand what talent looks like, and I understand what you need to do individually to set yourself apart from other players in the conference. So that's something that I feel like I bring to Case High School. The issue that we're having on the girls' level is there has been a huge drop-off in the numbers and in the talent that we have here in Racine. And for me, it's a bit frustrating because I know how important the game of basketball is to the city of Racine. And from my perspective, in order for Horlick, Park, Case, in order for their women's program to get better, we have to start developing these kids early on and get them into playing basketball. Now, flip on the boys' side, we're going to need some training for them as well on the lower levels because we have a lot of kids that are missing key developmental things that's going on at specific grade levels. When I came up, I had small fry. I had the Racine small fry. So Racine small fry gave all the high schools a great advantage because there was development being done by Coach Booker, Coach Rudy Cullum. And these high schools knew that once we were done at that level, they were getting a great class of student athletes. That's no longer being done at the lower levels. So we have to figure out a happy medium to work with Optimus, to work with the high schools in trying to get these kids better. So it has to be a collaboration, and we have to treat it as such. So we take interest in things in academics, but I believe that athletics is a strong part of our children's lives as well. So those are certain ways that we underclassmen are able to get scholarships. So I think we need to treat this matter as serious as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So here, Brendan, I'll let you discuss.
I was just gonna ask him how You already answered it basically. When I was just gonna ask, how do you think, how do you think more people can get involved with basketball, specifically like girls? I should say.
So, are you talking from a player perspective or
No,
someone
I'm just like
that's
curious, like on how that can be possible.
so?
Like in the sense of like, how can you get more girls to play?
How do you create that spark in
Yeah.
in a player to play?
If I knew the answer to that, I would be a rich man right now.
Okay.
I really would. It's a great question, and I think that's something that we can all work towards, and it'd be gratifying in the end, right? At the end of the day, I'm a girl's dad, so anything that I can help out the game in terms of women, I'm all for. So I just think we have to bring that love back somehow, some way.
Right.
And making these young ladies feel like they can be a part of something greater. Give them opportunities to be successful on the court. Social media has done a horrible job to our youth. They're less engaged and things like that. They're more into making posts and stuff like that instead of getting in the gym and putting in the time to become better, right? Mm-hmm. So, man, that is a great question. I wish we had the time to peel back the layers on that question because that's a multifaceted question in my opinion.
Right.
And then you're also Alder too. So you want to tell us on like what that is and what you do for that?
Yes, I am an 8th District, City of Racine 8th District Alderman, and I'm also a Racine County 6th District Supervisor. So what that means from the city side of things is, obviously the city is broken up into different specific areas, and there are aldermen for that specific district. Mm-hmm. I just happen to be in the 8th District. And there's a lot of things that goes into that responsibility, right? You have to hear the voices of my constituents from why their garbage is not being picked up, why the neighbor has trash all over their property, someone is stealing my parking spot, a landlord kicked me out and shouldn't have, police brutality, police shooting, inner city shootings. I mean, you name it, we're involved in. The city budget, I mean, it's unreal the amount of things that we are into as alders or county supervisors. We make important decisions. Mm-hmm. And I don't take that role lightly.
Fair.
So I know you didn't ask me this, but I would like to go into why I decided to be an alder.
Oh, yeah, please.
I think that's important. In full transparency, never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would be into politics at all. It wasn't my cup of tea because, first of all, I'm private. I'm not into that mud-slinging competition because I take things personal, especially when you're talking about my name, right? So I spent too much time to build that, so I don't play that game of politics. Mm-hmm. And then I never wanted to be in the forefront, right? I like to stay in the background, and I like to make my noise from the back, although I've been in the front my whole life. It's like I'm past that stage. But my cousin, Tyrese West, was killed by Officer Geezy, Mount Pleasant Police. And that hit hard. And when I tell you that hit hard, it hit so hard that it put my world into a whirlwind, right? Seeing the hurt on aunties' faces, seeing the hurt on cousins' faces and not being able to do anything about it was hurtful for me because I was always looked at as big cuz, or it was the first time in my life that I felt like I couldn't do nothing about it, right? So, they were protesting, they were marching, and while they were doing that, I was absent. I was absent for a reason, because again, I like to be behind the scenes. I don't want to be out front doing all that rah-rah stuff. I like to make change. I like action. Mm-hmm. So the only way that I thought at the time that I could make change was getting into office to make these officers and whoever else is doing wrongful things, hold them accountable. So that was my number one reason why I got into politics. Now, fast forward. I got into it for that reason. Didn't really think I would like it. Well, I started learning how that process, how governmental entities work. I started being involved into these separate different groups like the finance committee and all those type of things. So it gave me valuable information and hands-on things that allowed me to be a better alderman. And then so happened the governor gave my district millions and millions of dollars to build a hospital facility, to build a brand new King Center, to do a lot of good things for the constituents in the 8th District. And being at Julian Thomas at the time, being awarded that kind of money was a little bit emotional for me, because I saw kids come into my classroom every day that I knew that this money would impact. So it hit a little different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm building relationships with these kids, and they have no idea what we are doing in the background. So being able to receive that type of money, I know that, you know what? I'm looking at these kids like, you'll be okay. I'll make sure, not just myself, but the mayor, the governor, we're going to make sure that the monies that was given to the Racine, which was the most ever, okay, 32 million, I believe it was.
Jeez.
Wow.
Right.
That's a number.
So that was given to the 8th District, my district.
Wow.
So how lucky am I, right?
Yeah.
Admirable.
So it's cool fighting the fight. I have to be honest, like, it's a lot of work that goes into this, and I don't see myself doing this for years to come, to be honest, because I know that I can make difference in other ways. Mm-hmm. And me being at these schools and stuff, I know how to navigate and make ways that I can make a difference on that level. So that's the next chapter in my life.
Yeah, and with that, like, because you got your brand as you're wearing it today, and then you're also talking to me about a little bit on like what you wanted to do for like using basketball as that sport to really like reach out to people, as in the youngsters and even all the way up to the college level. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So basketball, or just sports in general, have always been my vehicle, right? What's funny is, a long time ago, my mom had told me that the Lord had told her that I was going to be a pastor one day. All right. I know it's funny to you too, but it's funny to me, because I'm like, I'm not going to be a pastor, right? Mm-hmm. But over time, I started to see similar things that was happening in my life that could potentially put me in that realm, right? Mm-hmm. So I wasn't the person that I was raised in the church, but I didn't go to church all the time. That's why I couldn't see myself being a preacher, right? So being a pastor is having a gift and preaching hope, or giving hope to those that's following you, correct? So basketball or sports is my vehicle. That's my pulpit.
Yep.
Because I've been through just about everything. I have experiences that I can give to these young kids in Racine that is priceless, right? So with using it as a vehicle, my hopes is that I can pour as much as I can into our younger generation to build Racine back to the way that it used to be. See, you all are young. Y'all don't remember or know what Racine used to be. Racine used to be the hotbed of talent. So when colleges and recruiters were looking for grime and grit and point guards or things of that nature, guess where they came?
Here.
They came to Racine.
It's crazy.
Right? And if they needed like power forwards or bigs, obviously they went to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But so that's my ultimate goal, is to use my voice, to use my experience to pour back into our young youth to build them in a way of being successful, right? And you had mentioned about my brand. For a long time, I've always wanted to have something that's my own, right? So me and my wife and my sisters, we always threw around the thing. Okay, we want to open a restaurant because we can all burn on that skillet, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know. That takes a lot of work. So we were always trying to figure out things. I'm like, well, shoot, as much as I've done, my brand is I'm the brand,
Yeah.
right? So in terms of sports, what I decided to do is created a logo and created a sports brand that I can sell athletic gear. And it's enjoyable because I know what West 10 means. I know the work that went into that. Every time that I was on national TV, and I had Marquette on the front and I had my name on the back, I was carrying the city of Racine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I did a phenomenal job of representing the city of Racine by not getting in any trouble, representing on the court, and representing in the classroom.
Yep. Yeah. Well, shoot. Here, one more second. And then I'll just get a shift quite a little bit, or just a little bit. So like we were talking about politics earlier. Do you think our generation and our youth should get into politics?
Absolutely. I think the youth should get into politics, and I will give you reasons why. We know how important social media is, right?
Yep.
All of you all are heavily involved with social media. Many of you have many followers, so you know how to make an impact right away.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that in the election last year when young folks hit the pavement, right? When young folks shook the world up, you all made a difference, whether you know it or not. Because us old folks, we done that. It's time for us to sit back and guide you and hand the keys over to you. I think a lot of times as we get older, we want to still hold on to something. Sometimes we just got to get out the way. And I think we did that in the last election because your voice matters. You are the next leaders of our country, right? You're the next generation. So I think you definitely need to get involved because you're in the schools. You have fresh minds. You have fresh ideas. And it all starts with you. And just imagine, I'm 47, which means that I got into politics 2 years ago, so I was 45. I've always voted, but I never really been into it like that. So just imagine at 16 that you following how you should look at things, right? And forming your own ideas on which way you should vote, what areas are important to you, right? I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely believe that young folks should get into politics some way, somehow. You don't have to choose a side. You just have to choose a fight.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Right.
And for someone who's like a youngster and they want to like leave an impact on Racine, what kind of advice would you give them?
If I were to talk to a young individual that I believe that can make an impact into Racine, I would unequivocally say you have to be yourself. because if you don't believe in you, I tell these girls and the guys for the basketball team this all the time. If you don't believe in you, who else is? If you don't love yourself, who else will? So the question becomes, what can I do to what am I going to do? So leaders, you can't train leaders. Leadership qualities are in you, right? And people lead in many, many, many different ways. So I would say to you, whatever you are passionate about, that's what you take leadership in. And that's how you form relationships. That's how you form collaboration. That's how you build your focus. That's what I would tell someone that wants to make a difference. And also, if you change the life of one individual, you've done your job. A lot of times I put a lot of weight on myself where I feel like I can save the world. Well, guess what? It don't work out like that. So why should I put that pressure on myself and get into some deep, dark place just because I felt like I couldn't save anybody, right? So if I feel like I can save one individual, I feel like I've done excellent work, because that one person is going to talk about their experience to somebody else. And then that person is going to talk about it to somebody else. It's almost like word of mouth. It becomes infectious, right? Mm-hmm. So every single day, and Daniel will allude to this, I try to make a difference in some way.
Yep. No matter what it is. If we're reffing, if we're just sitting here, or like we were playing pickleball earlier, like really whatever.
Yep, I agree. And man, I just I enjoy life. I don't take life for granted, right? And I just think that everything has not always been glitz and glamour for me, right? I know there's outside people that think that I live this wonderful world, live this wonderful life, which I did. But what they don't understand is they don't know the work that went into that craft. Imagine being the number one player in your profession or your craft for 18 years. Imagine that pressure. That means that there's no days off, because there's always someone that's behind you that's trying to be better for you. And to be able to sustain for that long period of time takes a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure. You have people talking about you all the time. I always say, me working out in the gym didn't make me great. It was my haters. So in my Hall of Fame speech, they were the first ones I thank, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because if it wasn't for you, there would be no me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about your Hall of Fame, because I was.
I can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, so if for those that you don't know, Marcus is I don't even, you should, yeah, obviously you know, Racine County Sports Hall of Fame. So I looked you up here, and it even says, whenever the topic of who was the best all-around athlete ever in Racine County is broached, West's name is inevitably, I'm not going to pronounce that word, going to arise. West was a star in both basketball and soccer at St. Catherine's High School, and was bestowed with all-state honors in both sports. He earned first-time all-state honors in basketball his senior season with the Angels in 1993, and was a Journal Times All-Racine County first-team selection all 4 years. West also has the rare distinction of playing both sports at the NCAA Division I level. As a point guard at Northeastern Illinois, he was awarded East Coast Conference Rookie of the Year honors. He later transferred to Marquette University, where he played 1 year of soccer and 2 years of basketball. During the 1998 and 1999 basketball season at Marquette, the ultra-quick West led the team in both assists and steals. This man's
Crazy,
a
bro.
legend right here.
Dude,
right?
literally,
And we have him
local
in
legend,
a
bro.
local
Hey,
legend.
hey,
Local legend.
hey, I'm gonna tell you first. He was a bad man.
Wow. Dude, I wish I was that athletic, bro.
Yeah. So you also
Crazy.
did play soccer. So obviously you probably enjoyed basketball better. But is there any takes?
That's not necessarily true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
So, I get the question all the time because I was obviously good in both sports. I would always get the question, which one did you like more, or which one did you feel you were better at? And I give the simple, honest answer, and that is I felt like I was equally gifted in both. The fortunate part of it is basketball took place in the winter, so it kept me occupied. So obviously, I like basketball, right? But soccer took place in the summer. You're outdoors. We're traveling all over the place. You have girl soccer teams and stuff like that. So I will say that I definitely, in basketball, we obviously played in the summer too, but I can say this. In the winter sports, I enjoyed basketball. In the summer, I enjoyed soccer.
I kind of have a different question. It's just who are your goats in both sports?
LeBron, Michael Jordan,
Well,
and then soccer.
we're going to get back to the original question in a second, but I'll answer this for now. So soccer for me will always be Pele. Obviously, may he rest in peace.
That was just recent, right?
That was just
Yeah.
recent. But I will say, Ronaldo and some of these other greats, the guy from Messier and the other guy from France that's up and coming now,
Oh, Mbappe.
Mbappe. These are great soccer players. But for me, the GOAT will always be Pele. For basketball, man, that GOAT conversation can get sketchy and can get
sticky.
personal at times. Because it depends on a lot of things, in my opinion. So we've hearing this conversation about Michael Jordan. Is it LeBron? But in that process, we have forgotten about Kareem. We have forgotten about Wilt. We have forgotten about the bad man out of Boston that got 11 championship that just passed away.
Oh, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
So I'm almost like Michael Jordan in this sense. Like, to say that you are the GOAT is like poking fun at the game and those that came before you. But if we were to focus on these two individuals that's right before us, either Mike or LeBron, I grew up in the Mike era, right?
Yeah.
I wore his shoes. My school, Marquette University, is now sponsored by Jordan. And I used to run home from practice to make sure that myself, my mom, and my sister caught the Bulls game. I never did that for Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
But as Jordan faded away, I was looking for that replacement. Started off they thought it was going to be Vince Carter. They thought it was going to be Kobe, which they were all good. Then this kid from Cleveland comes along. And man, let me tell you something. He's a bad man. I feel like Stephen A. Smith right now. He's a bad
man.
Just think about the things that he has done for the league, that he's done for Cleveland, that he's done for the inner city. Man. And then him passing Kareem, I think for me that solidified it for me. So that pulled me off the fence. So I'm going on record right now. I'm saying in terms of basketball, LeBron James is the GOAT.
Ooh.
You heard it
Hot take.
Now, I'm a Michael Jordan man,
Yeah.
but I said it. LeBron James.
Wait, did you ever see him
Is
play
the
in
GOAT.
person?
Which one?
Well, I mean, I guess both.
I seen Mike play in person.
That's cool.
I've also seen Mike kiss the rim. That was one of his famous
Oh,
famous
really?
dunks.
That's
So
crazy.
imagine seeing that at like 7 years old, from the court.
Mine would be blown.
So check this out. So Michael Jordan, after his third year maybe in the league, he came to the Southside Center here in Racine. So they had a Michael Jordan basketball camp. I was invited. It seemed, if I remember correctly, it was invite only. I think Park and Recs had a bunch of tickets and they just flooded the community with them. Anyway, on the last day, Michael Jordan shows up. Blew us all away. I'm young. I'm like, man, this is Mike. He had on this little Nike outfit and stuff like that. And right away, what we want him to do, we want him to dunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the building was a great at the time, Hayes Ford, who is 6 foot, but his elevation was second to none, right? So he dunked first. I believe Hayes Ford he threw it off the wall, it bounced, and he caught it. It was an amazing dunk, and we were all just like, we were just floored. And so we were like cheering for Mike to dunk. He was like, nah, I don't want to do it. But he finally did it. And I was sitting short corner on the left side of the rim on the baseline there. There was a bunch of us, but I remember this vividly. Mike gets us on that side. He clears us away, and I'm looking at him. I'm looking up at Mike. And he jumps in the air, and he gets parallel with the rim, and he kissed the rim. I swear it's the greatest thing I ever saw.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's actually
It's
crazy.
monumental.
Greatest thing. So
What? He came to Racine? That's crazy. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so Mike came to Racine. I can even tell you what he came. I believe he came in a red Corvette. He got pulled over on on
16th Street?
What is that? Racine Street that goes to Kenosha. He got pulled over
Oh, yeah, I know
going
you're
like 70 down that stretch.
Sheridan?
John Sheridan. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He got pulled over. I think the city
Which officer could say
I
they
couldn't
pulled over
tell you.
Michael Jordan?
right, call in right now. You
Gotta
should
be
be
a
about
flex.
70 years old right now.
I need a whole lot of backup.
right. So, yeah, but that would be my pick right now. I respect the hell out of LeBron. He's had a squeaky clean image. He's a billionaire now. I love what he's doing in the community. In my opinion, he's using his voice the correct way.
Right.
Only way that you can make a change is you need people like him to get on board. That's why I give Milwaukee Bucks a lot of credit, because they were one of the first to get involved in, when this police brutality was happening, if y'all remember.
Yeah.
When they was in the bubble and they were going to protest the game, they weren't going to even show up. I think that was huge for the NBA. That was huge for the country, because now you have a whole league full of millionaires, right? That's saying that, you know what, we're not gonna stand for this no more, even if that means that we're not gonna do what you enjoy watching us do.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge deal. Right. So to go in reverse about you, you did a beautiful segue in reading my sports list and all that stuff.
Thank you.
But the thing that I could say about that, I've always was a team player first. This is going to sound like LeBron, by the way. This is kind of what he said last night. I never played the game to get personal accolades. I've always played the game to win. In my opinion, if you were to ask me what do I want my legacy to be, I want to be claimed the greatest winner that ever came out of Racine. And the thing of it is, I have the track record that says that. This is not nothing that I just want somebody to call me. I've won on every level. On every level. And when I tell you I've won at every level, I literally mean that. I'm going to say I because my team is not here, but I went through stretches where, we didn't win. We didn't lose a game. I have championships. I'll just say it like this, and I'm going to leave it at that. I won championship as an amateur. And that included multiple Optimus championships, multiple AAU championships. That includes winning, when Small Fry was around, winning the National Small Fry Tournament in Newark, New Jersey, and then being invited to Russia into the international tournament.
You play in Russia?
Hold on, yeah, we can get deep into that. You might have to invite me back for that.
Yeah, we'll bring you back.
Yeah, this is a gem. I'm giving you a gem,
Okay.
so you got to invite me back for that. So that same Racine Small Fry went to Russia. We were the first amateur team from the United States to ever touch Russian soil.
That's great.
The first. And guess what happened?
You won?
We came back with that championship.
Gives you chills.
So I was a national champion. I was a world champion as an amateur. I go to high school, Racine St. Catherine's. I win back-to-back state championships. I leave St. Cat's. I go to Northeastern Illinois that sucked for 20 years. And a little freshman out of Racine, Wisconsin takes Northeastern Illinois to the conference championship and lose by 2. I leave one Golden Eagle because Northeastern Illinois was called the Golden Eagles. I left the little Golden Eagle to go to the big Golden Eagle. And we won the Conference USA Championship in 98. So in my humble opinion, I think that I'm the greatest winner that ever came out of Racine.
Amen. Well, you also do some fun activities. I even have a video here, but you do boating and fishing.
Correct.
But then you also do sorry, Wes, if you don't want me to show this, bowling. Let's give her a play. Oh, the form. Oh, pick up the spare, and he does it.
Wow.
Look at that form.
Man of many
Man of many,
talents.
yeah, man of many talents.
Man of
Man of many, many talents, I have to say. But I will say this, I proved my daddy wrong. My daddy said, boy, you need to focus on one thing. You can't be good at everything. And I'm thinking to myself, how dare you say that? You had me involved in every sport there was. So now you're going to try to tell me that I have to focus on one thing. Well, I'm not wired that way. That's why I'm involved in so many things right now and still still able to stay sane.
Right.
And when I tell you I'm involved in a lot of things, Lord have mercy. I don't even
There's
know.
so much more.
I don't
We could
even
be
know
here for
how I have
hours.
time to even do this interview. But
Lucky to have you here, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So bowling. Well, first off, fishing. I've been into fishing my whole life. My dad started me off into that. So that's something that I love to do in my free time. I love to play Texas Hold'em in my free time.
Oh yes, man, dude. I've been getting.
Boy, I've always wanted to learn how to play.
I haven't been getting on my poker grind.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So gambling was taboo.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this on record. I don't care that it's taboo. I love playing poker. Period. I don't care if I'm an alderman. I don't care if I'm a teacher. Whatever it is, I love to play poker. And there's a million other people that like to do so as well. So
Yeah.
I'm an advocate for it. I love to do it. One day I want to go to the World Series of Poker and be able to play in that. That's a definite dream of mine. So I do that. I love bowling. I bowled a lot when I was younger, but obviously never on a competitive level. Bowling is something that that don't hurt. I'd rather bowl than play basketball or soccer now at an older age. So that's just something I picked up and gotten a little better at it. So now I'm getting into golf. Lord help every golf course that's around here because I am horrible. Just being honest.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we've kept you long enough. So I guess you're just gonna have to come back.
I definitely have to come back because I have to tell you about that 1987 small fry team that won it all because it's a huge story.
Dude, I'd love to hear that.
There's a
one. Yeah, I really wanna hear
documentary.
that one.
I need to make a movie.
That's
There's a
right. There's a
documentary?
documentary being done as we speak. I'm not sure when Mr. Terry is going to be done with this project, but it's been a year in the making. As I said, we were the first to do it, and it's something about being first, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think once the dust settle, I think this team is going to be in Ohio and in the Hall of Fame there as well. So, yeah, I'm proud of my brothers. We're still close to this day. And that's one thing I can say, get involved into sports because sports create an atmosphere and a brotherhood that can't be broken. These are your real friends. These are individuals that you went to war with. So you know what they can do, you know what they can't do, and you also know what they won't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't have to figure it out. It's right in front of you.
And on that one, all right, guys, thank you so
Cool.
much for watching the Case Eagle Time podcast.
Yeah, let's give it up. M. West in the building. Let's go.
Local legend.
Let's go.
Local
Local
legend.
legend, man.
All right, guys, tune in to the next episode. See you guys next week.
Cheers.
That was good.